Let me talk to the men out there listening real quick. Guys, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction, fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances? Hey, low libido, ask your girlfriend or wife. She'll let you know if you're suffering from that or not. That's sex drive. If you'll text my name, Clay, in all caps to 601-327-8550, 601-327-8550, Men's Health of Mississippi and the Clay Edwards Show are going to hook you up with a free testosterone screening. They're located in Madison, Mississippi at 120 Fountains Boulevard. You can check them out online, menshealthms.com. But one more time, text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550 and get your free testosterone screening scheduled today. Enjoy the rest of this show. Boom, shakalaka boom. It is a Monday morning here live on the Clay Edwards Show. I am Clay Edwards. You're tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I know I did. I'm still feeling it a little bit. I went out and had a really good time Saturday night for my birthday. I appreciate everybody who said, hey, sent me a birthday wish, bought me a shot. Well, maybe people that bought me shots. I don't know if I'm happy with y'all or not, but I kid. I should have said no. Anyway, we had a good time. Thank you for everybody for all the well wishes and whatnot. It was a great birthday, as always. Made it another year, another trip around the sun, as they say. Let's see how much crazy stuff happens in my life between now and the next one. It's always kind of fun to judge that. Here in the ClayEdwardsShow.com studios with me this morning, a special guest. It's his second or third appearance here on the show. We got Dr. Micah Walker with Men's Health of Mississippi. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Doing well. So Friday I was on the show and I was talking about a photo that I had taken, and I was kind of hesitant about posting it on Facebook. You know, my weight loss journey, and I had my before and my current. I'm going to really call it an after because I'm not done. But my current before got a lot of traction on there. People are like, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? You know, well, it's a lot of hard work. You know, there's no cheat code, so to say, but there is kind of a cheat code. And, you know, for me, it's been really taking advantage of my testosterone replacement therapy and the energy that I get from that, the drive that gives me. It helps me achieve my goals in other aspects, in other ways. You know, so it's like all the things that's listed on there that it does, it actually dang does. You know, for us guys in our mid-40s, late 40s, it is definitely a bit of the fountain of youth, so to say. And I got off the phone with you, and you called me, or you gave me a call, and you were telling me that it's legal, or y'all figured out how to do the compounded semaglutide again.
Yeah, so there were some changes last year, about a year ago, that made it difficult in the state of Mississippi for patients to access compounded medications for weight loss. And the concern around those was the safety of the supply at the time, because these things were hitting the market, and there were some pharmacies that were not really on the up and up and were kind of unscrupulous in their practices. But since then, over the past year, there's been a lot of positive developments in that area. And the State Board of Medical Licensure and the State Pharmacy Board have opened back up the option of compounded weight loss medications, specifically semaglutide and tirzepatide, which people know as either, as Ozempic or Wegovy. Those are the semaglutide brands, and the tirzepatide are Mounjaro and Zepbound. And so the compounded medications those being available again is really a huge thing because of the cost difference. So like just a monthly supply of the brand medications, if you can find them, because they're on the short supply list and they're kind of hard to get. But it's anywhere from $1,100 to $1,400 a month.
For like Ozempic or the name brand stuff.
Right, for the Zepbound or the Wegovy for weight loss. And that's just out of the reach of most people with their financial resources. And then the other challenge is, it's like, even if you have health insurance, odds are your health insurance doesn't provide coverage for that class of medications because of how expensive they are. So there are people in the state that have great health insurance and they have some level of coverage for the medicines, and a lot of times the insurance works for them. But I think the vast majority of Mississippians have no insurance coverage for these medicines, and in Mississippi, our state is pretty overweight. So weight loss is a big factor for a lot of people, and losing weight would improve most people's overall health.
Hey, I think we're top 5, maybe 3 in most obese states. So
yeah.
it's definitely a health factor here. And I remember when this all first started coming out, there was a big fuss between people for type 2 diabetics and because I guess it's some of the insulin. I know there was just a big fuss. Like people were very mad that they were having a harder time getting their diabetes medicine. And I rationalized it like this. I say, well, this is preventive medicine for some people. So, I mean, it's still the same thing.
Right, yeah. I mean, most people who are significantly overweight are, to some degree, insulin resistant or what we call pre-diabetic, And so these medicines benefit those people because when you lose weight, your blood sugar control improves and you can actually have normal glucose levels again after you've lost a certain amount of weight. The trouble around it initially was, and still remains, is that for people who have insurance coverage, because most insurances cover these medicines for diabetes, even if they don't cover it for weight loss, they cover it for diabetes. But when it's being used, when the brand name medications are being used for weight loss, it decreases the supply available for patients who are diabetic. And so that was a big, it's kind of an ethical dilemma, when you're writing and using medicines off label for something. And a lot of that was before we had a label indication for weight loss, for obesity, before they came out with the Wegovy and the Zepbound, which are the same medicines as Ozempic and Mounjaro, but they just have a different label because of the way the pharmacy industry works. A lot of the Ozempic supply was getting used for weight loss, and so it was decreasing the supply available. And so these medications still remain on the shortage list. Like the manufacturers cannot make enough of them for the demand.
Well, I've heard that Ozempic, who makes Ozempic? Is that Pfizer or one of them?
Eli Lilly makes the tirzepatide. I think Novo Nordisk makes Ozempic.
Whichever one it is their most profitable medicine they've ever done.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, and you have to appreciate some of the nuances of the pharmaceutical industry in the U.S. because, like in Mexico and the country of Turkey, you can buy Ozempic for $200 a month. Okay, but if you're an American, it's $1,400 a month. Why?
I understand why.
Right. Well, we're the profit center of the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but the benefit of the compounded medication is that, if you're getting your compounded medication from a good, reputable compounding pharmacy that's doing all of the testing of what we call the active pharmaceutical ingredient or the API, verifying the chemical makeup of what they're using as a raw material, and they're basically, these compounding pharmacies, they operate really as a drug manufacturer. They're held to very similar standards as medicines that you would get from a Pfizer or any big company in the drug industry. So these aren't like mom and pop compounding pharmacies down the corner. These are national compounding pharmacies that have manufacturing facilities that follow all of the FDA regulations around compounding, and then have licenses in the states where they distribute medications. And so the new rules that were just put in place by the medical board and the pharmacy board here in the past month or so have opened it up for physicians to prescribe the compounded medications as long as we are verifying. It's our responsibility to verify that the compounding pharmacy that we're using has quality control measures in place to guarantee, to make sure that the public is safe, that they're not getting a medicine that could be, adulterated, contaminated. It's got to be sterile. It's got to be the right medicine in the vial. Before I went into medicine, I actually worked in pharmaceutical manufacturing for 10 years, and I made sterile injectable drugs that were sold in used in every hospital in the United States. And so the compounding pharmacies that we use, and the verification and background information that I have made sure that our compounding pharmacies are good and reputable and safe for our patients. And we've gotten incredible results in the past and continue to get those results with the compounded semaglutide.
Yeah, so when I first, I guess it's about a year and a half or so now, when I first discovered you guys and I got to taking the testosterone, I did for, I want to say 2 months. I try to remember back here, about 2 months, did the compounded semaglutide. And I was telling you before we came on there, I was thinking it was a month, but it was 2 months. I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Now I kind of got off that and I didn't really keep my diet like the way it needed to be. Got comfortable, all that good stuff. I gained that 20 pounds plus back. Actually, I think I gained about 35 pounds back, but neither here nor there. If you use it to jumpstart your weight loss, to create new eating habits,
right?
And if you stick with that after you are done with the medicine, you will stay in shape. I read a bunch of stuff. People say, "Oh, you gain everything, you lose right back." Well, you will if you don't eat right,
right?
And you continue to pick up your bad habits.
I mean, weight loss is a challenging thing to accomplish for most people, but it's a very simple concept. I mean, it's pretty much the opposite of saving money, right? So with money, you want to spend less than you earn, right? Well, and that builds your savings account, right? Well, if you think about in your body, the amount of fat that you have in your body is kind of like your calorie savings account. And so you actually want to be doing the opposite. You want to run at a deficit. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat fewer calories than you burn every day. And that's how you get consistent weight loss. And so that's a simple concept, but it's very difficult for people to do because it requires so much discipline. And there's nothing magic like these medications, the semaglutide and the tirzepatide. They don't make you burn calories differently. They change your relationship with food. And so I describe it to people. It's like if you sat down and you went to a seafood buffet, and you didn't eat all day, so you knew you were going to this buffet, and you just killed it. You went to the buffet, and you went back to the buffet line like 4 times. And so, but at the end of it, you feel miserable because you overate. And you overate, and you stretched your stomach to the point that your stomach's sending signals to your brain to stop. Don't do anymore, And you feel miserable, and you're like, I'm never going to do that again. Now, these medications, if you overate, it kind of augments that signal to the brain that tells, we call it satiety. It's a sense of being full. It's a sense of being satisfied, okay? And most of us, if you eat fast, which a lot of people do, they eat faster than their stomach can send the signal to their brain to stop, and they overeat because they eat fast. But these medicines, what happens is like, so normally if you sat down and ate a plate.
So it's better to eat slow, right?
It's better to eat slower.
And get full.
Right? And because when you eat fast, you actually consume more calories because you're not letting your brain, you're kind of overriding that signal that you get from your stomach to your brain that, hey, I'm full. You can stop eating now. And so, But these medications kind of make it where if normally you could eat 3,000 calories at a sit-down meal, now when you get, and that's a full plate of food, now when you eat half a plate of food, you feel full. So you eat less.
I could tell you personally, I want to say I took my shots on Thursdays. Friday night's always steak night at my house. It's the end of the week. I like to grill steak. And it sabotaged my steak night for 2 months because I would cook these steaks and I would sit down and take 2 bites and be like, I don't want another bite of food.
But you felt satisfied. You felt like you didn't, you didn't need any more.
But then it also reminded me, food is such a social contagion, so to say, around here. Like we eat to do everything.
Right.
We eat to socialize, to commiserate, for comfort. I was still getting all of that satisfaction of hanging out with my girlfriend, cooking food, doing all that stuff, going to the grocery store to get it, just all the social activities.
Right.
And then I just wasn't miserable when I got through.
Well,
and your body will tell you you're not hungry. Sometimes you got to put a bite of food in your mouth to realize it. But it's like, hey, this works. No, don't get me wrong. I didn't waste my steak. It got ate over the next couple of days.
Right.
But still, so I kind of doubled as meal prep too.
And this is kind of anecdotal, and there's no research, there's no label indication or anything for it. But these medicines, I've seen them help people decrease their alcohol consumption.
That too.
Because they kind of get in a routine. They come home, they drink 3 tall boys in their recliner, and while they're watching TV, and now they drink 1 beer and they feel full, and they don't drink the next 2, and that's extra calories, it's extra alcohol, it's just overall not healthy for us. Yep. And I've seen a lot of patients who they've taken the medicine for the benefit of weight loss, but then it's actually helped them in that other aspect of their life that they maybe didn't even realize they had a problem with. They drink less wine, they drink less beer, and it helps them change their habits, because it doesn't modify their behavior, but it modifies the way their body responds to their behavior in a way that it helps them make a change. And then the patients, some patients may need medicines for years to maintain, and that's not a bad thing if you think about it. I mean, if you have high blood pressure, you take high blood pressure medicine every day.
Yeah.
If you're obese, and medicine every day would keep you from being obese, and it would improve your overall health and eventually like your longevity and your quality of life as you're aging, then why wouldn't you take a weight loss medicine every day if you needed it?
Hold that thought. Let's take a break real quick. We got Dr. Micah Walker, Men's Health in Mississippi, here in the studio discussing weight loss with you this morning, and new medicines that have been cleared by the Board of Health for you to save money and lose weight. We'll tell you how you can get it and more. I got a few questions about it too when we come back. This is the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Watkins Construction and Roofing. We had some hail come through the area. What was that, Friday afternoon in Pearl there? And then last night we had a nice little hailstorm push through. If you think your roof may have gotten any damage, reach out to my friends over at Watkins Construction today. They'll come out. They're going to do a complimentary roof assessment, see if you got any damage. If you do, they'll get it situated. They'll work with your insurance company the entire step of the way. Or every step of the way, should I say. They're going to be professional. They're going to be courteous. They're going to clean up after themselves. They're going to take care of your landscaping, and it's going to be done right. You're going to have somebody in constant communication with you throughout the entire process. You're not going to be left in the dark wondering what's going on when you're dealing with Watkins Construction and Roofing. You reach out to them today, again, for your complimentary roof inspection if you think you may have gotten any damage from the hailstorm or any other time for that matter, at WatkinsConstructionInc.com, or just Google Watkins Construction. It'll pop up. Everything right there. Boom, boom, boom. It's over 600 5-star reviews right there on Google. Kind of read through them and find out why. Pretty much everything I just told you right there in that little ad read. So check them out today. That's Watkins Construction and Roofing. We're joined here in the studio this morning, Dr. Micah Walker, Men's Health of Mississippi. But, hey, guys, what we're talking about this morning is weight loss and semaglutides, or kind of a compounded version of Ozempic out there for people who may be more familiar with that name. This is for men and women, by the way. The Men's Health of Mississippi is just part of this great clinic they have over there. And they have the women's clinic upstairs. They have a Micah, help me out here.
Yeah, so when I started out of residency, I guess 7 years ago, my primary care practice is called New Care MD. It's been around for about 8 years now. And then we realized, there was a gap in terms of there wasn't a primary care clinic designed for guys. And so we started Men's Health of Mississippi, and then I had a couple of guys' wives come in, and they got upset with me because their husbands had a clinic, but they didn't have a clinic. So we added another clinic, Women's Wellness of Mississippi, and so we really have care for everybody, no matter where they are in life. Me personally, as a physician, my youngest patient will be 2 weeks old. I see them for their first well baby check after they come home from the hospital with mom, and my oldest patient is 97 years old. And so I do full spectrum family medicine, do procedures, take care of all manner of chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, and then also do a lot of procedures, whether it's like women's health procedures, like I do IUD insertions. So I practice full scope family medicine in my New Care clinic, and then we also upstairs in our women's clinic we do women's primary care and hormone replacement and weight loss, and then we also do some aesthetics, Botox injections, filler injections, some aesthetic procedures. And then in our men's clinic, we treat all the primary care issues for men, diabetes, hypertension. We treat a lot of testosterone replacement because there's a big need for that. But we don't just treat hormones. We treat the whole person and whatever medical issues they may have. Now, there'll be things that are above and beyond my knowledge level where we will refer out to specialists. But as a primary care physician, I'm able to take care of 90% of what people need. And weight loss is a big need. It's a huge need. Mississippi, we were just talking, Mississippi's third in the nation in terms of obesity. At one point, I think we were first. And I don't think we're third now because we've gotten better. I think we're third now because a couple of other states have gotten worse.
The difference in first and third, Louisiana's first at 40.1, Oklahoma 40.0, and Mississippi at 39.5. So it's a half a point separates us from first to third.
And so, when you look at Mississippi, so I'm from Holmes County, Mississippi. I grew up near Chula, Mississippi, and where I grew up, the average life expectancy of a male is 10 years less than the national average. And so, health, just wellness is the driving factor of that. Untreated hypertension, obesity, diabetes, all these chronic conditions. And the thing is weight loss factors into all of those because it doesn't take, the average American is obese, and so I kind of got a view of that. I went with some buddies down to Argentina on a hunt, and we were walking through the airport, and you can just pick out the Americans because we're giants. Yeah, I'm 5'9", and I was like a head taller than most people in the airport. And definitely a lot fluffier.
Yeah. I told you on the phone I went and got that DEXA scan done.
Yeah.
And I don't consider, I'm not trying to paint rose-colored glasses here. I don't look in the mirror and see an obese person when I see myself.
Right.
But in all the measurables that they do, it shows I'm obese. But the thing that the lady said that kind of jumped out the most in my DEXA scan was the visceral fat around the organs. So that's what we got to work on.
Yeah, and that's something, that's a big factor for men compared to women. The way that we store fat differently, one of the things, the women get frustrated with guys because men tend to lose weight faster when they make their mind up to do it. But a lot of that comes from the fact that men tend to carry their extra fat around their organs inside their abdomen, like it's internal fat, which is kind of the beer gut, pot belly, dad bod look, right? Yeah. So the firm, kind of distended abdomen And so it's not that you have that much external, what we call subcutaneous fat between the skin and the abdominal muscles. It's that internal fat around the organs. And that fat is more metabolically active, which is why it goes away faster when you diet or exercise or get on a weight loss regimen. But it also means, because it's more metabolically active, it has a bigger effect on overall health, heart health, blood pressure, all of those things. So the way, an overweight male with a lot of visceral fat, that's going to create a real negative impact on that individual's long-term health. And so it's more about, for guys, if it's that waist measurement, like, you're around, when you measure your waist around your belly button compared to your hips, it should be about a 1-to-1 ratio. And if it's not, you're kind of carrying too much extra fat inside your abdomen, what we call visceral fat.
Yeah, from like a 42 to like a 36.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I know, it's like, that's why I was like really dead set on losing that. And
because the thing is, like, BMI is just a calculation. It's a ratio of weight and height. Mm-hmm. And so BMI, while it's a easy thing to calculate, it doesn't really reflect. It doesn't reflect for everybody. What's a healthy weight. Body fat percentage is a much better indicator of that, but you've got to do a DEXA scan or they do some studies where they determine how dense you are based on how much water you displace. Like, they put you in a pool, mm-hmm. and they actually calculate your body fat percentage from that.
Interesting.
So like me, I'm a little on the heavier side. I need to lose some weight. So if I jump in a saltwater pool, I float.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm not as dense as I should be.
Me too. Hey, let's do this. We ran over big time in that first segment. Let's go ahead and take another break real quick so we can get back on schedule. Sure. And when we come back, I got a few. I wanted to set that up to talk about more of this semaglutide stuff. So, and how that can help with all this.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back with Dr. Micah Walker, Men's Health in Mississippi. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint. Check them out today online for a free quote at lakelandglassandtint.com. They got you covered on everything from windshield, automotive glass replacement, to window tint, ceramic coating to protect your clear coat and paint from this dangerous sun and heat out here during the summertime in Mississippi, as well as road grime and small nicks and scratches and stuff of that nature. Also, they got you covered with all your paint protection films. And hey, maybe you want to turn your vehicle into a big rolling billboard with your graphics and logo and all that on it. They can do that too. Full vehicle wraps. Hey, you maybe got a wall inside your building you want to get wrapped. You're a restaurant, want to put your menu on the wall. Possibilities are endless with what they can do at Lakeland Glass and Tint. They were just over at Auburn's Jordan Hare Stadium, rewrapping a bunch of their stuff. They chose Lakeland Glass and Tint for that job. So get over there. The possibilities are endless. LakelandGlassandTint.com. The windshield and automotive glass locations right there on Lakeland Drive in front of Red Arrow and Flowwood. And the everything else, wraps, tint, ceramic coating, all that stuff is located right there on Flowwood Drive, right over there by River Oaks or Merit Health ER. All right, that's LakelandGlassandTint.com. We're joined here in the studio this morning by Dr. Micah Walker with Men's Health of Mississippi and New Care.
Yep.
New Care. And Micah, we got a couple quick questions here from some listeners. One, Lance wanted to say, what side effects or drawbacks let me just read the whole question right. It says, ask him what the side effects or drawbacks are from using semaglutide to lose weight. Are there any?
Yeah. I mean, so the most common side effect with semaglutide or tirzepatide, any of these GLP-1 agonists, which is the class of drugs that we're talking about here, the main side effect that people experience is nausea. Okay. Usually not to the point of vomiting, but nausea. And that is kind of just because of the way the medicine works. It actually slows the stomach down, like it slows how fast the stomach empties. and it also kind of augments the body's response to the hormones, the signals that the stomach sends to the brain to tell you that you're full. So that is the primary side effect of these medications.
I can attest to that.
Most people, and that's one reason why it's really important with these medications that you start with a low dose. And so for the first month, you do the low starting dose. And you may not see a lot of weight loss with that, if you see any at all. But the purpose there is to get your body accustomed to it so that you can move the dose up. And so we titrate the dose up every month. And we basically get to the point where people, where you see the fewest side effects and you're seeing the weight loss results. And that's where we kind of keep people until they plateau. And if they plateau, we can go up on the medication if they're able to tolerate it. But most patients, I would say most patients are going to experience nausea at some point with these medicines, but it's not a unbearable level of nausea. It's and it typically happens when you up the dose or when you get started, and then once your body gets used to the medicine, the side effect goes away, and you just feel nauseous if you overeat. I think you would say,
that's
that
it.
would have been your experience, Clay.
And it goes away. I mean, it's not debilitating nausea. It didn't keep me from getting out of the house.
Yeah,
but it was just like, all right, I need a few minutes to gather myself, and don't put no more food in my mouth.
The other thing that people hear about, and you see in the news and stuff, and on social media, they talk about. You may see the term like Ozempic face, and it's literally when people lose weight. You lose weight all over your body because, and people, if you've been super heavy and you lose weight in your face, your face can actually, you could look not as young because you don't have as much fat in your face anymore. But that's not a side effect of the drug. There's nothing specific about the drug that's causing that. It's the weight loss.
Keto does the exact same thing.
So anything, and so, something I think that's important and we really stress with our patients is like when you're losing weight, you still need, when you're using a drug like Ozempic or anything to help you lose weight, you still need to eat a healthy diet. We recommend, unless there's a medical reason not to, that you eat a pretty high protein diet so that you help spare the protein, you help spare the muscle when you're losing weight aggressively. And that way you're mainly losing fat and not muscle. But, that is on the patient has to, kind of change a bit of their lifestyle as well. Because, if you take those Ozempic and you still drink Cokes and eat crackers and you don't eat healthy, you'll lose weight, but you can lose the wrong kind of weight if you're not changing your relationship with food.
Okay, what they call skinny fat.
Yeah.
Michael, I know you got two more things you want to hit here. We got about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Explain to people why they need to get this from a local physician, from an in-person visit versus one of these online places, and then compare the price points, so to say, from being able to, not. You're not going to save any money going online based on the packages y'all have.
Yeah, so, I'll disclose, I'm a bit biased here because I'm a physician that has a local practice and I see my patients. We do physical exams. We put them on a scale. We weigh them. And I'm a bit biased here. I think telehealth is great. I think telehealth is a great tool to help provide more access to patients that already have a relationship with a physician. And we use telehealth in our practice heavily. I love telehealth. But a lot of times these telehealth only options, they can create problems because they only do one thing. They just do weight loss. So they're not really getting any lab work to screen for diabetes or prediabetes. They're not checking liver function. They're not doing all of these things that need to be done to help guarantee your overall health. And so I don't think you can get it done any better than going to see your physician, the person you have a relationship with, and having an actual someone who's actually looking at all aspects of your health, not just your weight. I mean, the weight's a big factor, and that was what was tough over the past year because of the regulations and not being able to use these medications, the compounded medications. A lot of people, have gone and gotten, what we call research grade semaglutide, which means the bottle comes to you and the bottle's labeled not for human use, for research use only. Okay. So a company that would sell you that knowing that you're using it for yourself, it's not just unethical. It's like, it's a money grab. Like, what would those people do to make money? Right? Because they're working, living, not even in a gray area. They're selling you something knowing you're going to use it. And there's been a case of the FDA really coming down on those, but there's so many of those companies out there selling these medicines, and you don't know where the medicine's coming from. You don't know where it's sourced. It's not being produced in a licensed pharmacy. And that's where I think it's important that you talk with your doctor, with your nurse practitioner, with a person that you trust. And if you don't have that person, we'd love to be the people you trust to handle this. But, this is about getting people healthy. So, even ask your doctor about it, if you have somebody you trust. But use, the telehealth companies that are out there monetizing this, and they've built their whole business model on this. I'm always a little leery when I see, physicians and they only treat one thing because they kind of have a vested interest in you having the one thing that they treat. So they kind of got blinders on because they don't take care of everything else. Where in our clinic, if you come in and your blood pressure's high, I mean, I'm a family doctor. I can't not treat your blood pressure. Yeah. So we've approached this particular, business of medicine just like we do everything in my practice. Is we do primary care, and weight loss is a big part of primary care. Testosterone replacement is a big part of primary care for men. And so, but we don't just give up, take our primary care hat off and not treat the other things that impact people's health because we're treating their testosterone. We keep an eye on everything and help somebody manage their health. So that to me is important. I think if you can get this from your physician or from a local physician, somebody who has a practice, who has a place in the community, who you can look in the eye and talk to. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of value in that. And like I said, I'm biased because that's my practice model. But I want to, the relationship you have with the people taking care of you is important, and I think it brings a lot of value to everything.
All right, we got to take our last break real quick. We'll be right back with Dr. Micah Walker to land the plane here for hour one so he can get to work, and we'll tell you all about how to get in touch with him right here on the other side. All right, welcome back in. We got about a minute and a half here left with Dr. Micah Walker out at Men's Health in Mississippi. Guys, look, here's the, if you got any questions, if you're curious in any of this stuff, text weight loss. It don't matter how you do it, gap between the words, space between the words, whatever, they set it up. Text weight loss to 601-327-8550. 601-327-8550. Somebody's going to get in touch with you from the office. They're going to get you an appointment schedule. They're going to answer all your questions, and you'll be working with Dr. Micah and his team over there.
Yeah, and this is for everybody. This is for men, women, moms, dads, grandmothers, grandfathers. Even teenagers struggling with their weight. There's no reason not to use these medications.
Man, if we could get kids started, losing some weight that are obese now in high school, it could change the trajectory of their life forever.
Yeah.
And that is something
we just really look forward to helping you in your journey. And we appreciate you, Clay, for sharing this and sharing your experience too. I mean, that's a huge thing. And so, Clay's going to be getting back on the meds, and I think he's going to invite you to come along a journey with him because he's working at hitting some goals. And I think you don't have to wait to the new year.
No, my new year started yesterday. It's the my new year starts and ends with my birthday. Micah, thank you, brother.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Yep.